G'day guys and gal. One of the most controversial things Warhammer has done with its lore is set up Perturabo as the coolest traitor Primarch by far, make him hate on Chaos big time, make him spit in the face of Horus and the gods, and choose his own path, just being a traitor for the love of the game, only to then say, oh yeah, and then he became a demon Lamau. To many it felt like a massive character assassination and nothing at all like the Perturabo we've grown to love. However, with some of the recent novels coming out, GW is finally showing us a path to Perty's damnation that is starting to make sense. It's not particularly satisfying, but it is becoming less jarring. So now we have the information we need to actually make our why did Perty become a demon video rather than just the how or when, which is all we had in the past. Before we get started, as I announced a few days ago, Perturabo is live until the 21st of March. This is the girthiest boy we've ever released. Remember, girth isn't always about size, it's about girth. The model has been meticulously crafted. The base was scaled to 100mm exactly. His size was very deliberately chosen so you can proxy him as whatever demon boy you'd like to. Since there are also a lot of Iron Boys coming out at the moment, there has never been a better time. Peter comes in 3 different scales. The tabletop scale, which covers all your wargaming needs, and the default scale for tabletop purposes. Then there is the art scale, which is scaled up about twice the size, which in this case makes him fucking huge, and is perfect for those that just love painting and want to have all the details magnified. This scale is perfect if you wanted to enter him into a painting competition or just want a sick display piece. Then there is the Titanic scale. This scale is Peter as a statue, a fuck you to anyone, especially Mr. Dawn, and a genuine collector's item. We're only doing 10 of these as they're a huge pain in the ass to produce. This model has been in production for an ungodly amount of time, and I'm so fucking happy to finally release him. Link is below, don't miss out. Today I will go over why Perty became a demon, as well as how and when, cause why not? Let's get into it. To start, I need to give proper context as to why people were unhappy with Perty being a demon prince. After all other traitor Primarchs who weren't killed became one, so you'd think it'd be pretty expected. Well, it's for 2 reasons. Firstly, most traitor Primarchs did not want to become demons. They were more or less raped by their respective gods into becoming one. Only Lorgar, who was the biggest Chaos simp to ever live, as well as Fulgrim, who was actually raped by a demon to a point where his entire character was completely assassinated, so can't really consent to anything, chose to become demons. Mortarion was tricked into taking a shortcut through Nurgle's garden, being forced to become a demon to save his legion from an eternity of suffering. Magnus became a demon to save his own life after he attempted to assassinate the Emperor. This was after all the abuse he had suffered from both sides, and Angron was literally turned into a demon by Lorgar against his will. Perturabo didn't have anyone to force him to become a demon. Likewise, he is a demon of Chaos Undivided as far as we know, hence none of the Chaos Gods forced him either. Combine this with the fact that like Conrad Kurz and the Night Lords, Perty and his legion saw Chaos as a weakness and a crutch, it is starting to get a bit confusing. Iron Warriors who accepted Chaos gifts were looked down on by their brothers, and Perturabo even left the Siege of Terror when he realized that Horus was going to unleash an endless tide of demons and basically let Chaos lead them to victory rather than the might, will, and tactics of the legions. Perty wasn't afraid of using Chaos as a weapon or a tool, but the idea of it being a master of him was abhorrent. On top of that, the idea of traitors who actually have their own beliefs and convictions beyond just being a meat suit for Chaos is super interesting. Perturabo had been used and abused by the Imperium, always thrown into the most grueling sieges and wars, and never given a chance to be an artist and a builder, which is what he wanted. Nor did he get recognition for his efforts. He was sick of it. Then as soon as Horus was doing the same thing to him, he bowed on him as well. We all respected Perturabo and it showed a great villain character. Like sure, we love a bit of Angron demon retard roid rage, however Angron becoming a demon took him from a tragic sophisticated character who had convictions, beliefs and will, to now just being a mindless juggernaut. All Primarchs who become demons genuinely just become less interesting as a character in my opinion. So in Perturabo we had an interesting character who thought Chaos was weird and gay, who stuck to his beliefs and morals, and who didn't actually need to become a demon as we already had one demon Primarch for each god, as well as one demon Primarch for Chaos Undivided, who then became a demon soon after the Horus Heresy. You can see now why people are not a fan of this at all. Now there was a few fan theories thrown into the mix to explain this better and why Perturabo would do this. Some may call it copium, I call it better lore. The leading theory was that Perturabo was actively dying due to the wound Fulgrim gave him during the events of Angel Exterminatus. Basically, Fulgrim tried to use Perturabo's soul to fuel his own ascension to become a demon prince. Perty fought back, survived, and Fulgrim ascended anyway. Since then though, Perty has seemed sickly and constantly bulking out his armor, almost like he was slowly turning it into a dreadnought. People believe that the wound was slowly killing him as his soul was draining away. So out of desperation, Perty became a demon, as it would replace his dying soul with warp energy and make him immortal. There was even a theory that Perty wasn't actually a demon. He merely seemed to be one as he had turned himself into a dreadnought to keep himself alive, with his face being described as pallid and necrotic, as if he was rotting away, but not in the kind of way that Nurgle makes you rot. However, no, GW has been very explicit by saying Perturabo is a demon, so that theory has been shut down. But how and when did it actually happen? During the Scouring, which was the period after the Horus Heresy, where the loyalists were uber pissed off and the traitors were falling falling back to the Eye of Terror, there was a battle called the Battle of the Iron Cage. Basically, Perturabo made a stand on a planet called Sebastus IV and built his own mega fortress, calling it the Eternity Fortress. It was full of bunkers, wire, mines, trenches, traps, ketamine. Everything that was super unfun to deal with in a war zone he built. He basically wanted to prove himself better than Rogel after Rogel had technically won the Siege of Terra. Rogel, who at this point was more of a Black Templar than an Imperial Fist, decided to attack this fortress, vowing to bring Perturabo back to Terra in an iron cage. So yeah, that didn't go so well. Rogel basically just thunder kunted his entire legion into the fortress and suffered obscene casualties, only preventing outright loss on the daily by personal interventions. At every angle, Rogel was outclassed. He spent the lives of his legion as if they were world eaters. He was unable to get orbital support, as when the Imperial Fist landed nearly their entire legion on the planet, the Iron Warrior fleet assaulted theirs. Just as the Imperial Fist were on the verge of being wiped out, the Ultramarines arrived and drove off the Iron Warrior fleet. Perturabo saw that victory was impossible against two legions, so withdrew, taking 400 Imperial Fist corpses with their gene seed in tow with him. The Imperial Fist were reduced to around 6,000 legionnaires, which were then split into 6 chapters. Now, it could have been a lot less than 6,000, however, as each chapter is about 1,000 Marines, it's the fairest assumption we can make. Perturabo then offered up the stolen Imperial Fist gene seed to the Chaos Gods, which combined with him humiliating Rogel Dawn, earned their approval and they ascended him to become a Demon Prince of Chaos Undivided. But why? Why would he do this? After all, recent lore doesn't really discuss him slowly dying because of Fulgrim. For all we know, he isn't dying at all. So how did he go from Chaos Hater to Chaos Cum Guzzler in a few short years? Well, after Perturabo abandons the Siege of Terra, he has a bit of an existential crisis. He thinks about going back to Horus and begging for forgiveness, but then he's like, nah, fuck that, Horus is a bitch. All the while he smashes up his command deck numerous times. He hates how Chaos has taken over the traitor cause, but he also sees Chaos as a powerful weapon, a weapon he needs at his disposal. So Perty finally decides something that seals his fate. Like many before him, he thought he was different. He would become Chaos's master, wielding it like a tool, like a weapon. He would let no master control him but himself, and he would use his genius to unlock power and potential even greater than Horus could. Horus, who deluded himself into becoming a slave. Now, interestingly enough, Perturabo's first action with this in mind was to bomb a Wordbearer-controlled moon in the Sol system just after the heresy. See, the Wordbearers were trying to bait the loyalists into hunting the traitors down and continuing the war. By doing so, Chaos would be able to feed on the war and suffering and rapidly regain its strength. See, the loyalists were content to slowly rebuild, taking Luna, then Mars, then slowly the rest of the Imperium. This structured approach was anathema to Chaos, who wanted something fast, unstable, and vicious. However, the loyalists would only do this if they had evidence of Chaos still existing, as many of them thought it was destroyed when the Emperor slew Horus. To this end, the Wordbearers built a shrine which was the conduit for Chaos energy. However, Perty blew it up and then literally paved the entire moon over so that not a trace of anything remained. See, Perty wanted Chaos to be his bitch. He did not want it to recover too quickly. So by denying the Wordbearers, he was giving himself his own timeline to be able to try and master Chaos. It is this attempt and desire to master Chaos that would see Perturabo become a Demon Prince. Now, to his credit, becoming a Demon Prince of Chaos Undivided does generally mean you don't actually have a master. Sure, Chaos is your master, but all 4 Chaos Gods need to agree on something for them to issue a command, which they basically never do. So you're free to more or less do whatever you want as long as it serves the overall Chaos agenda. Likewise, Perturabo has become a living weapon. From what I've read, it sounds like he's become some kind of demon engine, which means he has a much easier time existing in real space than normal Daemon Primarchs. More than likely, he is heavily involved with the Dark Mechanicum and probably knows Vashtor quite well. Now, does all this make his lore to become a demon good? Well, no, at least not yet. When he described his desire to master Chaos to an Iron Warrior captain, the captain is dismayed and horrified. He was so sick of Chaos, and now to hear his Primarch speak of it like a tool to be conquered, he knew where that would lead. I believe in that moment, we were the Iron Warrior captain, dismayed that an awesome character is making such a stupid decision. However, in saying that, multiple books featuring Perturabo, his character development, and finally the Iron Cage Scouring book should give us a shitload of lore and context on why and how he truly became a Demon Prince. I seriously doubt that the Iron Cage will end up being as simple as Rogel angry, Rogel retarded, Perturabo kick Rogel's ass, Perturabo give 400 gene seed to Chaos, Perturabo become demon. I think it'll be much more sophisticated than that. Perhaps Perturabo is on the cusp of truly mastering Chaos as a tool and weapon without needing to become a demon. However, Rogel's tenacity allows him to reach Perty and overcome him in a fight, forcing Perty to ascend to save his life. Thus, his tale becomes one of tragedy and desperation. He becomes the weapon of Chaos rather than the other way round. Thus, perhaps there is actually a victory for Rogel there after all, if Perturabo then spent the next 10,000 years out of the setting, sulking over what happened, rather than rampaging through the Imperium, that is countless lives and worlds Rogel had saved. Only time will tell. Regardless of whether you think Perty becoming a demon is good lore or not, we can all agree that his demon form is pretty fucking baller. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up Perturabo alongside any other major mini you desire. Get them all, I dare ya. Hit the subscribe button, hit the real subscribe button for more iron content. Join the squad for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.